Yep. Live stream offline. The streaming shit is weird. Let's see. I'm looking at a picture. Live stream is currently offline. And why? Ah! It works! Sorry, I'm fucking noob when it comes to streaming. I don't get this whole thing. It's completely weird.
It's completely weird.
Oh, well, that's me. Weird, weird, weird. Ah, it's the same. Alright. Ah. Fuck SketchUp. Well, hello. I was looking at my latest failure, which was the vertical ribbon. So a ribbon that is like corrugated in this direction and then very long. Didn't work at all, but you know, it's not so much about my failures, to be honest, but I thought it would be fun to just talk loudspeakers in general. I mean, DIY, planar magnetics or something, or electrostatics, or headphones, or whatever. Could be fun. And I thought I'll just, you know, get a design up, something to talk about, but it's been a while, so it's kind of a mess, I must admit. Where are my older designs from the mini monitor, etc.? Can't find it. Anyone in chat, by the way? Because there's not much conversation, of course, when I'm alone. It's sad. This is a design that... Is this the design? Yes, I think it was. Some sort kind of arrangement of planar magnetic. So the red parts are base parts, and then it had a mid-range and a tweeter. Kind of like the 57 also wanted to have the curved thingy baffle. Although it doesn't, you know, do something in vertical dispersion. I don't think it does much in the original quad as well. A tiny bit, but still. Not much. This was some sort of contraption with woofers, I believe 10 inches. Never made it, of course, but just looking around in old, you know, files. This is probably one of the mid-range ribbon base, I guess. Still, I think a quad-like panel could be fun, but I'm not sure if it's big enough to have a proper low end. Do I have my headphone thingies in here? Nope. This was the latest Dopplito arrangement. So this is the mid-range coil. And this part as well, and then there is a separate tweeter coil here. That thing still, it's pretty nice. Might need to make something useful with it, with like a woofer underneath it or something, or a full range. Not sure yet. I could as well play a game. I mean, no one is in for talking planar magnetic or headphones, for all that matters, at this moment. Are there any of the people that always comment and ask questions in here? Condom? I don't know. Where? pervert Nazi. Oh, cool. So you're finding out new swear words. Condom pervert Nazi. Cool. Very nice. Original, I must add. You're just seeing what will be banned or not. You will be by now. Bye bye. Ah, you're trying to say something. It backfired. Didn't work, did it? Anyhow. I cannot find the Neo. Oh wait, it's in here. Yeah. My electrostatic projects, well, the last one, I think it was the Solo Sound electrostatic loudspeaker. And I never made something after that, but still I want to make some because electrostatics do sound pretty nice in my opinion. Everyone to their own, but so the latest I built was, I think, oh no, this is a very old one actually. I wanted to make a new panel just like the Solo Sounds, which are like 10 centimeters times 15, but I want to make them a little bit wider and then segment them as well and do the PCBs by a GLC PCB or something, like a company that makes PCBs. But I'm not yet sure if they ask like more, if you ask them to drill like gazillion holes, because I guess they're not looking forward to drilling 5 million holes. Not sure, I never tried, but I can try. But and then make them slightly wider so you have a tiny bit lower resonance, and then it could be used as a mid-range and a tweeter in one. So that's up with the ESLs, but nothing. I didn't make anything. Don't have the time actually to make anything. So maybe in the future. You're still looking for a plan, or at least, are you making electrostatics yourself, by any chance? I have to watch on my right side to see the chat. So. EEM drivers. What are those? Oh, in-ear monitors? No. Because it's not possible. If that's what you mean. Yeah. I guess so. EM drivers. Like, you mean like electrostatic EM drivers or in-ear monitors? Yeah, well, for electrostatics that's gonna be hard. I mean, it's way too tiny, I think. Way too tiny to have anything like low end, because the resonance of the thing will be insanely high. I'm not sure if you will be left with any low end. Output will be low as well. So the only thing I can think of is maybe like multiple membranes. But then again, the resonance will increase, but the output will increase as well. So I don't know. I've never seen one actually. Didn't Stax make one? I don't know. Stax. Yum. Maybe they did. Apparently they did. Okay, so it should be possible somehow. Is this gonna fit in your ear? Because I cannot imagine. They look huge, but maybe they are not. That's gonna be some work. L300, is that the... Love to see a measurement. Is the L300, is that an EM? No. So they do make one, but I wonder how low they go. I think both are quite difficult. I mean, a headphone is difficult already to make nice, let alone be a IEM. Christian, I think, Marcus made a EEM once, planar magnetic, but it was like, you know, rather big, and then had a ear. Worked quite nice. Still have them. Quite good sounding. But they're pretty huge, let alone if you make an ESL, and I have to make them like this big. I wonder how that works. I don't know, maybe it works really good, but I have no clue how in this case. Must be a review somewhere. See if they got a measurement. Baby Stax. Well, they're really small. Nope, they don't do measurements. 20 to 20 kilohertz, that will be amazing. I can't imagine it does that, but who knows? I mean, that's sick. They're so tiny. Also for the price, I don't think it's even useful to make something similar. Anymore? Well, yeah, there are. Audio Static, Solo Sound, Final. Final is not like, you know. Final is back, by the way. I've been to their factory once to talk. And they make some really nice loudspeakers this time with coding that lasts. At least, you know, we hope. You never know, but it looks good. So yeah, those three and maybe some more even. I believe that's it. Oh, no. No, mostly Audio Static is very well known, and Final is well known, but not for the good reasons. And Solo Sound is less known, but works quite nice for like 20 years, 30 years, which is quite okay, I think, for electrostatic. But not so much headphone related. I think Stax is the only one that does in-ear monitoring for with electrostatics, and if it reaches 20 Hz to 20 kHz, that's quite insane. I have no clue how they do it, to be fair. I mean, there's hardly any movement. Maybe some sort of compression or something. I mean, the cup is quite big for an in-ear monitor, but still really small. But just pump it in your eardrum, I guess. Let's disable this music because I'm getting annoyed by it. There's no music I can play without being flagged, I guess, but it's okay. It's funny, so there are a lot of people that want to see electrostatic loudspeakers of some sort. The only problem is getting nice transformers is a big deal. You can use cheap-ass transformers for at least for mid-range and top-end, but going lower is kind of a problem. Ah, Shure as well. I've never known that Shure made electrostatic anything, to be fair. It's cool. Ah. Nice. That's really nice. So this is with receiver, but I don't think there is much to gain making it yourself. I mean, if you look at how small this is, and I'm not sure what the specs are, but knowing Shure and seeing this price, although mostly it is the receiver, I guess, but it's gonna be quite good. Not sure if it's viable to make something that is better or as good. Probably not. Probably is gonna suck. I think a mid-range treble panel would be still nice, but you have to make it like a line source huge, which is, you know, not for everyone. Not everyone wants like big panels in their home, so that's kind of a problem. That or making a point source, which is still something I would like to do. And I kind of did, but it's like a long time ago. Should like revisit that because it's kind of funny. See if I can find a picture of it. I think it was somewhere here. Nope. I think it's in here. And you look at all my crap here. So it was called the stacked ESL. I hope I have some pictures. These are measurements. Yeah, so these were the stators, and I used a 1 1mm drill. That's quite a lot of drilling. And the idea is that the middle part is doing the top end. I think I made a mistake in this one. Yeah. Well, the idea was the middle part is doing top end, and then the next ring does a little bit, well, not the upper top range. So they play full range in the middle, and the rest is playing except for the top end. Well, this was a very simplified version. I mean, the tweeter part is a little bit too big compared to the rest, etc. But I was wondering if you could, like, making a point source of an electrostatic loudspeaker is kind of a problem because you need usually quite a lot of surface area, and you can like compensate that by using multiple stacks of them, and that's nice for like the upper end, not so much for the lower end. Well, can be used as well, but to keep it small, I thought it could be fun. So these are all the stators. Well, thank you. Too bad you have to work. But thanks. I'm glad you enjoy it. So these were, this is a spacer. Spacer. This is also a spacer, but with copper on there to connect to the membrane. And then I had like spacers with holes because I thought it was necessary to make it on both sides like equal. But in the end, I dropped them because it only like interfered with the output. It was not nice. This is where I put some Mylar on there, I believe, with the 30 NF as usual. So they're stretched here. Use some liquid crystal. Not liking that very much, but. And what is nice is, what is this? Okay, that's impedance. It's this actually. So here you can see, not sure if it's visible. I think it is. So blue is one of those panels, and a red is using 2 of them, and green is 3. And they're not actually using 3 of them. They use only 4 stators. So they have a back stator, Mylar, stator, just like a normal electrostatic loudspeaker, and then you got Mylar but with reverse polarity on the high voltage on the bias, and then you got again a normal stator. So they the only thing is they switch polarity in the bias voltage, so you can get away with only 3 stators and still have 2 panels, or at least 2 pieces of Mylar that play together. That was the idea. It's kind of it's still funny, I think. I mean, if you see what the gain is, it's quite much. I mean, blue minus 20, minus 7 or something on green. So that's like, let's say 12 dB difference out of a small panel. That's quite nice. Or it could be nice. No. Claude, I didn't. I don't know what works. This Licron, this one, I think, no, yeah, here, there's a bottle here, Tech Spray Licron Crystal. It should work. I mean, many use them. I believe Charlie, Jazzman / Charlie, I believe, Jazzman, ESL, Charlie, oh, I think it's here. This guy that makes really nice loudspeakers, ESLs. Very nice. Very big as well. He uses Licron as well, and he has no problem. So something goes wrong with me using Licron Crystal. I don't know. Oh, you made quite a lot of them. Cool. That's a huge pile. And he uses as well, I believe, the cheap ass transformers. Very nice stretching jig, by the way. Let me take a look if I can find the transformers, for instance. Yeah, he uses like these. I forgot the brand, but I think it is like 12 euro transformers. For mid-range, that could be fine, but a low end, it's not. And as well, well, you know, he has quite a lot of surface area, so it works. If you want to go smaller, it doesn't work that well. And I somehow want to do the thing that's probably not possible to do, as usual. And probably will never succeed as well, but who knows. So for a good ESL, if you want to make a big ESL and want to have some nice plans, this is your best bet, I think. He has quite, you know, it's quite a lot of how-to. It's a nice guy from DIY Audio, I believe. I'll take a sip of my beer if it's okay. I don't think it's even allowed, but well, who cares? But yeah, I would like to make some ESL panels that are like tiny or smallish, and then maybe long. That could be nice, and then segment them as well, so you have good dispersion. That would be one thing. Or the stacked version. Although the stacked version might be just a lot of trouble. I don't know. I tried it before and it was fun to play with, but I'm not sure if it's like perfect. Could be fun if it works. Uncle Kaczynski, have you any experience with Wisdom audio drivers? No. Wisdom Audio. I know the name from, but I'm not sure. Ah, also planar magnetic. That's nice. Blah 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 blah. What? Products. Looks nice. Oh, they have quite some loudspeakers. I would like to see the drivers themselves, but that's I don't think they sell them separately, I guess. No, it's funny. They look great. Stage chairs. Okay. Is this like... Ah, okay. It's more like sound bars or something. Oh no, for cinemas. That's really weird to use them in cinemas, to be fair. At least the line source would be weird. Line source. They got a gazillion loudspeakers. Peek. Would love to see some of the drivers themselves. It's hardly visible in these pictures. That's too bad. They do remind me kind of the Infinity kind of style loudspeaker. But not sure. I mean, there's some bars in front of it, but I can't imagine they have like magnets in there. So it might be single-ended. I don't know. There are quite a lot of people making these kind of loudspeakers, which is, well, not good for business, of course. I'm looking for a new engineer. Well, I don't think they want me, to be fair. Probably on the other side of the world as well. I can take a look. Where is it? USA. Yeah, would be great. Would be really fun, but maybe in the next life. They look awesome, but I don't know how they have like a zillion products. I mean, they have like, really, look at this. 5 million loudspeakers in production, or maybe not in production, who knows, but quite a lot. I think something like a Magnepan would be fun. Not so much to work for Magnepan, but there should be a brand on this side of the pond that makes similar loudspeakers, I think. I mean, it's not the most, most difficult loudspeakers. They're not easy, but I wonder why no one ever tried. Or maybe it's like afraid of, I don't know, being sued or something. I don't know. I mean, there's a healthy profit in making those, and you can still sell rather inexpensive loudspeakers. I mean, still expensive, but I don't know what the prices are for the Wisdom Audio, but I can imagine they're a bit more expensive. Wisdom Audio prices, price list. That's not even that insane. Okay, well, it is expensive, but not insane. I was looking at these lately. And I forget the name all the time, so yeah, I think it was this, yeah. Analysis Audio from Greece. They look kind of familiar to me. A bit like a Apogee. But what, well, not bothers me, but what surprises me is the prices. So there should be prices here. Audio analysis. Oh, let's look at the sale. Ah, here, there's one. That's almost 14,000 euros. It's quite a lot. I knew it was almost 30,000, so there's quite, you know, there's money to be made if you can make it look nice, especially. Yeah, true. And Magnapan is one of the best, I think, in making a simple design that works. Well, and it's not completely fair. Magnapan even has a very low price. Oh, my battery of my phone is empty. So that's gonna be not too long before I am gone. Yeah, so Magnapan, to make a Magnapan loudspeaker is rather cheap. It has mostly labor. The parts are almost nothing. But then again, they also sell them for a decent price usually, except for their like huge models, like the 20.7 and the 30 point something. Those are really expensive, but the rest is like, decently priced if you're living in the USA. If you're living in Europe, it's gonna be expensive, but yeah, even the LRS is like, what is it, $800 in the US, which is, I think a bargain, even if I don't like them all that much. I don't know yet. Still, they're rather cheap for the kind of speaker they are. So that's quite cool. So they're not only making huge amounts of money. Maybe it's like a lure you in to buy some more expensive ones. I don't know, but their pricing is rather decent. I have troubles with my iPhone. It's like it's sitting on a charger and it's still draining, so it's not good. I don't use the phone because of it, but yeah. So this is quite an expensive brand, but I think they just do the same as Apogee did. I hope there were better pictures. Hey. A few that you can look through the foil, for instance. So yeah, here you can see these magnets look quite familiar to me. They look a bit like these. So a bit like these ones, if you ask me. And they use so they have like 6 in a row for the base panel. which is not, you know, it's not gonna be that expensive. Oh, that was a gate. This is a good picture. Ah, they used 7. By the way, in this picture it looks like they're smaller than the ones I got here. They're like this size. But yeah, it will be. I still have to make one of those panels. I still got the test panels, and there's quite a lot of low end for such a small panel. So I wonder if you make them big, it could be rather nice. The only problem I have is that my CNC is not big enough, and I would like to use a CNC to make all of this, but it's quite a hassle to make a panel that big on my CNC, because I have to do it in multiple steps, which is quite annoying. I don't like it. Maybe they are, I don't know. But then again, I took apart many Magnepens to take a look at their design just to have an idea. I mean, if it wasn't for Magnepen and Solo Sound, I never made the panels or speakers that I make. Or at least it was never my hobby, I think. I bought a set of Solo Sounds once and I thought, whoa, this is amazing. How can something sound so nice, which is only 2 plates and some thin Mylar and a transformer and some high voltage? How can this sound so nice? And the simplicity, although it's not that simple, but you know, if you look at it, it's like, it's only a few parts. This is really cool. This is something I could make myself. That's really nice. And of course you're gonna take a look and see how they did it, because they have far more experience with it. And the same goes for the Magnepens. I bought some SMG Ace, I believe, or SMG C. I don't know which one it was. I think it was a C. Well, anyhow, yeah, I had to like replace the sock, and then you peek inside, and then it's like, ooh, this is rather simple. And only after one fail I discovered they actually use rubber magnet. I didn't know. I thought they were, you know, using like magnets, normal magnets. And where you can find those long magnets, I have no clue. But when I found out that it was rubber, I found some rubber magnet in a hardware store and played around with it. But not all magnet is the same, of course. It depends on how it's magnetized, like through thickness or the other way around, then it's not usable. And then I looked for years to find cheap rubber magnet because if it's not cheap, the whole design is not feasible to use, I think. A large scale ESL, yeah. Like a full range is not gonna happen, I think. It's really hard to make a good full range ESL, I think. I changed my membranes once for my audio static, and even that was not ideal. It worked, but I didn't like it all that much. I think for low end it's really nice to not have a electrostatic loudspeaker. The only ones that sounded nice were the quads to me, but for a very short time because there were some other problems with them. So in the end I had to redo them, and I didn't feel like redoing them because you got 4 panels in a ESL 63 times 2, so it's quite a lot of work. And I had 2 sets and I was kind of done with it. It took me way too much time. I mean, if you have all the jigs and stuff, you can probably do it fast, but for me it was like discovering how it worked, and it took way too much time and money. So I sold all my ESL 63s for like, I don't know, 400 euros or something, 2 pair. completely in parts, so they have to rebuild them themselves. But maybe in the future. I think I'll start off with just a simple mid-range maybe, or tweeter. Probably simpler. I wonder if solo sounds still... I think they still exist. Oh, they're nice. Very nice. Yeah, so they still use PCBs. Yeah, why not? I mean, it works. This was the original solo sound, I believe. Yeah. This is the version I had as well. Multiple versions of, I think. It was just a mid-range and top end. You put on top of a KEF B200 woofer, and that was your system. Both are really nice. The B200 was really nice, I think. Well, at least in that time. I mean, I didn't live in the 70s, of course, but I mean, in 2000 it was still a nice driver, I think. And with ESL, that was a hell of a speaker. But apparently they're still making them. Yeah. That's cool. So like a 30-year-old design, 35-year-old. That's cool. Well, anyhow. Hello, Jason. Live for a studio audience, yeah. It's awkward, but I'll try. The thing is, I had no plan. That's actually the worst thing. I don't have a plan what to do. I thought, maybe some people will we talk and, this and that, and then we'll see what happens. But especially in the beginning, if there's only one person in your live thingy that says something like condom, what did he said? Condom, pervert, and something else weird. That's when I ask myself, what the fuck am I doing here? Why am I doing this? Instead of people maybe just, talk about loudspeakers, but I thought maybe no one shows up and then it's gonna be really awkward and weird. It might be that my camera will drop out, by the way, because I think it's almost empty. Does it still work actually if I do this? No. I cannot see how much battery is left. 18. Okay, so this is I have to turn this knob if I want to take a sip of my drink, because apparently it's not allowed to... oh, why is my sound so loud? Sorry, my mic was like clipping all the time. Is this better? I guess so. So now I can enable the camera once more, I guess. Hey, hi! Yeah, I'm not sure if it was COVID. I think it was just someone that wanted to troll or something. Oh, you want more clipping? I'll give you some clipping. Maybe a little bit more. Something like this. Something in between. Ooh, this is okay. We do this. This is enough clipping. So. Clipping works. Well, yeah, so these are a bit like Apogee inspired, and I made some drawings that were like Apogee inspired as well. Not sure what I did and did not put in a video. So let's take a look. Oh yeah, I was always also wondering about not this one. Yeah, this is more like a oh, never mind. It's boring, by the way. Projects. It's a mess, so I have to like take a look at everything because I don't know what is. I thought I had an Apogee kind of thingy here. Apogee clone. Yeah. Ah, yeah. Oh, and I made gazillion drawings. So this, I was trying to get the measurements of a Apogee stage. So this is an Apogee stage, and I was trying to see if I was able to get like the dimensions of the magnets, etc. by looking at the outer dimensions, which you can find online. Then import the photo and then, you know, adjust the size of the photo until the dimensions for, like, for instance, this dimension matches the Apogee stage, and then I should be able to kind of, not perfectly, determine you know, the size of the membrane, and especially the size of bottom compared to top, what the ratio is. I forgot the ratio, but that's what I did here. So that's why there's lines here to determine the ratio of an Apogee stage. The thing is that this is an Apogee stage and this is one as well. But clearly this one looks different, looks even bigger, the membrane, but it's the backside, so measuring this was not very helpful. This is better. And you can see the construction as well. It's a bit like the one I made afterwards, of course. Just some piece of wood. Here I tried, I believe, measuring the magnet size, which was unclear to me. It probably is a US size, so I never know if I did it correct or not. So I believe from this picture I made kind of this design, but way smaller, of course, but I just wanted to try it. I didn't want to make a huge panel. This is exactly a panel that I can make on my CNC sideways. So that's the reason why I opted for this tiny size. And drew up some bigger models. And this is sort of the same one, but as the small one, but bigger. 74 magnets it used. So this is something I still would be cool to make. Drinking on camera, oh god. Yeah, so I planned on using double magnets on the ribbon, which is good because single sucks. And the problem is, I think this is, yeah, this is almost 1 meter and 20 centimeters, which is not possible to CNC on my machine. unless I'll do it in 2 parts, which is really finicky. It's not very nice. I'm not sure what all this other crap is in between. All kinds of coils and thingies I tried. So as you can see, probably only one of these panels, this one I believe, ended up in a video. The rest is all crap I tried and maybe did not even make. Some I did make but was not interesting to show, or I don't know. Well, yeah, this was my apogee period, I guess. Yeah, I did work on a Bluetooth thingy, but multiple actually, because there's one that worked actually quite okay. This is gonna be weird. I have to look at my own YouTube because I don't think I have pictures of it. Bluetooth panel. Planar? I don't know. Yeah, this one with the cat. That one used rubber magnet and a lot of power, like 40 watts or something, or more. And it played okay, of course no low end, and I gave it away to my niece and she's not using it. As I expected, you know, that's how it goes, but anyhow. I think it was a nice project to make. And later on I made a version with neodymium, which is probably this one, I guess. Yeah, this one is with Neos, but you have the same problems. I mean, the panel is not big and the excursion is limited, and if you force the smallish membrane to like move a lot of air to create more low end, there's so much more, you need to move so much more air, it's not gonna be possible. So also for this one you need a hybrid to work. And I did buy the Dayton ND90s or something. I just discovered them like 2 days ago in a box. You know, one pair. I never used them. That was the plan, to use them in a Bluetooth loudspeaker thingy. It's one of those projects that I never finish. I collect the stuff and then I never finish it. But then again, I got some stuff to play around with if I need. Jason, you were okay. You're playing with DML loudspeakers. That's really nice. Yeah, is there a way that I can share the... Well, the rest cannot read the chat, I guess. I don't know how this works. So, Jason says he used a polystyrene construction panels, 4 circles, but why? Well, if you got some pictures, that will help a lot. I mean, I play with the exciters, but it has been a while. Exciters were, well, exciting. Because you can, like, there's too many things to try. you got this thing and it sounds rather okayish on this desk, and it sounds decent here, and you know, you can, like, everything around you is like potentially a loudspeaker, which is weird. You can play around I played around with like weeks with it, but I had quite shitty exciters, to be honest. They were like the heavy kind, and they sounded like shit, to be fair, but I had more luck with motors from a Rubinoid that I used as an exciter. That worked for me, but I still have to try those Daytons. I mean, they're not even expensive, but I somehow never bought them. Maybe because I was afraid that I had to stock them to every piece of material I can find. And I had so many things I already wanted to try. But your design sounds interesting. Is it like a more like a, what's it called? DML, but the other thing with like, why is this out of focus all the time? Is there not enough light or something? Is it like a combination of a woofer with DML? I mean, I can imagine that works. And then spread them out, like not, you know, use either one or two at weird places. Probably one is better, but if you got some pictures, that might explain a lot. And Uncle Kaczynski, it's weird to call you Uncle, but yeah, it would be awesome, but at the moment I'm busy with some other work, which is working quite okay for me. What the hell is this? I don't get the program yet. But yeah, I have other stuff I have to do for a living. But it's good to know they are looking for someone. Might drop a line. Who knows? Thanks. Jason, yeah, if you got a picture or something, send it to me if you want. I mean, you don't have to, of course, but it would be fun to take a look at. I mean, exciters are funny. I see that I was at the IKEA like a few days ago, and of course they have like these Bluetooth loudspeakers with like DSP and whatever, which makes it almost, I said to a friend of mine, like, yeah, it's, you know, it's cool that they make this kind of loudspeakers, but at the same time it's like there's no use for me to make any loudspeakers. I mean, you cannot compete with something like IKEA. I mean, they make everything really nice and it costs like nothing, so that's no fun. But then again, I also saw these panels, so they are using NXT DMLs as well. By the looks of it, doesn't state somewhere it's NXT, but I'm pretty sure it's NXT exciters with some, you know, fabric in front of it. Jason, yeah, it's a full range diagram, that's control words. Where do you find? I was looking for like square surrounds, or actually I was looking for straight surrounds. I'm pretty sure you must be able to get it somewhere. I just want to have like, same goes for like a spider, you know, spiders in loudspeakers. I wanted to have like a straight strip of spider material. I don't know how you call it. You know, it's fabric doped in whatever kind of resin or something. I don't know. Same goes for this foam surrounds or rubber surrounds to make as well exciters or in my case Rubinoids, but I need some sort of suspension as well, but I cannot find it. But did you use like normal surrounds and then cut them up or something, you can send me a picture. My Facebook account is the same name as my channel, so it's not hard to find me. Hello, Harry Haran. It's quite a difficult name, but hello. I'm glad you like it. Which story? The DML story or the whole story? Because that could take a while. The DML story is quite quick. Yeah, Jason. Yeah, square surrounds is there are square surrounds for like car speakers and such. I personally let me look him up because a friend of mine that 3D prints his loudspeakers. He's called Paul, and he has a 3D poly. Ah, fuck! I forget his name all the time. His YouTube name, Polymade, I think. Yes. Polymade 3D. He makes loudspeaker drivers with a 3D printer, and he has some sort. He has several. What is it? Forgot the name for it, but the stuff you print with. I cannot find a name. I don't use it 3D printer, so. But anyhow, it has some sort of rubbery texture, which you can print, which is really weird. And you can make any kind of surround or, yeah, well, he makes everything with the printer. So there comes a time that we will make something together because he can print some really nice stuff that I cannot make at all. But I will be happy to try in some of my designs. So that will be something we'll be doing in the future. But you know how that goes. Usually it's like, okay, let's do that. Yeah, really nice. Okay, cool. And then, you know, half a year later, no one did anything. It's just like, I believe Toyd was the person that like won the 100 subscribers or something. Lottery or something. I sent him like rubber magnet and aluminium wire and mylar, I believe, to make a planar magnetic tweeter just for, you know, fun and giggles. But he never did it, of course. But yeah, well, it's okay. If I have any commercial products, no. Yeah, well, I have, but it's probably not of interest. I make chargers. I make battery chargers for audio transmitters, NP50 batteries that are used in audio transmitters on film sets or sound guys. Not all sound guys use the same transmitter, but the ones that have this brand of transmitter, they have to charge a lot of those small. Okay, I can get one just for fun and giggles. I'll show you. That's a bit like... That's a very long cable. So this is a bit like... So this is a charger with all the batteries in, so it's already in there. But yeah, it's just it charges batteries. It's also not very clear visible on the, but they're like these square tiny batteries. And well, they're used in audio transmitters. And the thing is, of course, there are chargers available, but not so. There are no chargers that charge so many batteries, which is kind of needed if you have so many batteries a day you consume. But anyhow, it's not very interesting, but it's paying the bills, so that's quite useful. As for audio, I don't have any commercial products as of yet, because I'm never fully convinced it's viable to make a product out of it, at least not by me. You know, it would be way too expensive if I make something and sell it. Filament, yes, that's indeed what I wanted to say. Could not find the word filament. But yeah, I mean, most of the things I make are funny to make yourself. And I'm not sure if it's viable as a product you can sell. Some of them maybe. If you don't mind, I'm gonna smoke as well. It's all against the rules, I guess. Smoking and drinking. No, that's very true. If I would make something custom for someone, then you can ask. Well, there is actually one person that wants a loudspeaker. Well, actually two persons. But at the moment, I'm busy with making all the pre-orders of this charger, because I was in welfare, which sounds really sad, but and I said, well, I can make these chargers, but only if I have enough orders, because otherwise I will be, you know, if like 4 people say, yes, I would like a charger, and then no one enters, I would be broke within a month. And I cannot pay my rent. So I said, you know, if I get a list of 50 people, then I'll go for it, and yeah, go for it. And I got a list of 50, but the only downside is that I still have to make 50 of them, which is quite a lot. Which is, I mean, it's very nice, but yeah, it will take some time before I can do stuff that is not very useful, because I don't want them waiting too long. A basic project, I think I got so many videos that I know most of them are like tests or playing around with something, and I never go into detail how to make it like step by step. I think there are only I'm making a mess here. A few that are easy step-by-step thingies, and I think it was the Well, the electrostatic loudspeaker thingies were, I think, quite simple. And maybe the headphone driver, although you need a CNC, of course, but yeah, that's the point. Often I use the CNC because that's actually the reason why I build it, because I'm not so incredibly precise normally. So I'm glad the machine does it for me. Because I'll make a mess. Even with the machine, I have to often have to redo it like 3 times because I made a stupid mistake somewhere. I don't know if I have maybe some of the older projects that is simple just to make as a DIY person without a CNC. I think so. Should be something there. Let me take a look real quick. Let's go back. Dates. Well, a Rubinoid is quite a. It's not simple, but you don't need actually fancy equipment. That might be, I think, your best bet. That's rather simple. What else do we got? Yeah, Rubinoid is really simple. There's a really nice plan, I believe. Rubinoid. Somewhere. Well, of course, you can use this is from a patent, which is very helpful if you want to make something. But it's not the one I was looking for. Because I think I saw a design once that, inspired me to play around with it. It was a Dutch design actually, or at least the drawing was. But I think this from DIY Audio will work as well. This is a funny design, by the way. This is kind of a weird. This is a cool design. I don't know from who it is. Well, anyhow, it uses more magnets, but. Oh yeah, also the guy from Spiral Legs also was playing with them, I believe, at some point, but no, I cannot find this simple drawing. There was one really basic drawing with metal you need, etc, etc. It was really simple, and you just have to play around in the end with the type of material you use for the membrane. I mean, I used paper, which worked really well. Some papers work insanely good, some papers don't. I might need to make. Oh, I have one video about making a small one from start to finish, but the only thing you have to change is everything that sucked in my design, which might be the paper, the size. I made a small tweeter one, but you can make just a big one and use, thicker paper, but the rest is the same. And you don't need a machine to lay down a perfect coil. You can just use some aluminium wire and just, make circles and glue it down. And then you got a perfectly fine Rubinoid, I think. Of course, I'm playing around, but... in which way electrostatic speakers are superior? Well, I don't know. There's something that sounds But I have it mostly with electrostatic loudspeakers, weirdly enough. That sounds pleasing to me in the top end. And maybe even the mid-range as well. And planars do a fairly good job, but still, I think electrostatic sounds better to me. If you look at my videos, if you're just looking at all the tunes played on blah 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 speaker, I'm pretty sure you will have the same conclusion that all the electrostatic loudspeaker videos sounded better than the other ones, which is weird. And I'm not sure what it is exactly yet. Because some of the planars, especially the mini monitors and such, they measure really well, but I don't have the same. It doesn't sound the same, but I'm not sure what it is. It might be that there is just an abundance of top end, which I apparently prefer because I'm deaf. I don't know, could be, and then that's not a good reason to prefer them. I mean, then it means they're not correct. But well, there's something about electrostatics that I like more. And dynamic, well, mostly often planar magnetic and electrostatics versus a normal loudspeaker is the fact that they're the whole one is a point source and the other one is often a line source, which is kind of different sounding and not always good, by the way. And at the same time, also one is open baffle and the other is usually not, which also kind of changes the sound and gives you more reflections from the room, and you can like it or you can hate it depending on your room or your taste. So I could not say one is better than the other. I mean, I think the best available loudspeakers might still be dynamic loudspeakers. Could well be, or a combination of dynamic and planar magnetic, AMTs, ribbons, but yeah, or a huge ass electrostatic loudspeaker. Although the ESL 63 for me is still one of the best sounding loudspeakers. You cannot play loud and you cannot play low, but as far, yeah, I really enjoyed them. There's not much to say about them. It's like just, there's nothing wrong with them except for low end. But yeah, Kickstarter, yeah. Well, I looked there were a few videos that I looked through Kickstarter looking for loudspeaker projects, and people of my channel apparently really they did not like it. They downvoted everything because I was probably too negative. So yes, I'm pretty. I don't know if Kickstarter is a thing for me. Usually it's like a very fancy video with people with beards and a free tune, and it's all about the looks. I'm not sure. It crossed my mind a few times, but at the same time, I probably fail miserably and do not get funded, so I never tried in the end. Kickstarter is also kind of scary. I mean, it's quite, that people do it is quite cool. I mean, you really put yourself out there and you're presenting your product, and people might, hate it or laugh at it or whatever. In my videos or on my channel, I'm just making something because I want to make something. I like making stuff, and yeah, if somebody dislikes it, that's not my problem. On Kickstarter, that's gonna be harder, I think, because you want to sell it, of course. So people are also not so nice. Yeah, the other problem is of course electrostatics and low end is a problem, and the combination electrostatics and dynamic low end is also a problem. Although I think low end in general is kind of boomy and floppy and whatever. So I'm not even sure if it is the combination of, people usually say it's like a fast driver and a slow dynamic driver. I'm not sure if that's the case. Maybe it's often, I think, at least for the hybrid electrostatic loudspeakers like Martin Logan, for instance, is the fact that the combination is weird. The bass driver is a omnidirectional driver, and then the electrostatic part is a figure of 8, so a dipole. I think that's more of a problem than the fact that it's a dynamic driver and a electrostatic driver, but just the two dispersion patterns is like they're completely off. So that's kind of weird. I'm not sure why there are no like open baffle woofers with electrostatic panels next to it, which makes more sense. There are, of course, but not many. That would be nicer, I think. Let's see. What's also a simple project to... I should make some A to Z things, I agree. Because most... out of the 350 videos or something, I don't know how many it are, but way too much. I'm pretty sure indeed that mostly it is I'm testing one driver or just a system that I'll throw in the bin afterwards. Oh yeah, well, another thing you can easily make yourself is playing, or at least playing around with the DMLs, because these Dayton exciters are really cheap, and as I said, and as Jason said as well, he had some good performance with a design he made, but you need hardly anything, just maybe some scissors and maybe a saw or something and some sanding paper, and you can just stick them on all kinds of materials and just play around with it. Although of course there are certain things you might need to know, like rounding off the corners, making sure the exciter is never in the middle, or at least not like the same distance from the sides of the panel, nowhere at least, hopefully, so like off center. Yeah, and if you use multiple exciters, then that's going to be even more of a problem, but you can space them out randomly. Maybe you can even filter them. It's very nice, simple thing to play around with. You can have like a few months of fun with exciters that are only, I don't know, 20 euros or something, maybe less. It's hard to beat with the amount of fun you can have with those. Let's see if I find something that I forgot that's also a complete project, or something that is easy enough to try without having fancy equipment. Well, the rubber planar magnetics with wires are also something you can do without having a CNC. Also not very hard. Yeah, some people go for only bass heavy drivers thingies. I believe for the ESL 63 there was like this pair of subs that were dipole. Was it something with a... Gradient. Was it Gradient subwoofer? I think it was. So it was like a box that the size of a ESL 57 or 63, I don't know. 63, I believe. The same width, and then a little bit deeper, and then there were woofers inside, open baffle, and then one was reversed. And that's a good idea as well. It's one of those things that if someone told you, then you're like, of course, yeah, that's a good idea. You reverse one woofer, so the distortion that the woofer makes, because just mechanical distortion, is like reversed in the woofer next to it, because the woofer is the other way around, and it will be out of phase and will like cancel each other, so you have lower distortion. That's why you see some open battles with one reversed woofer, which looks really weird, but that's the reason, and it's a pretty good reason. It's something you think, I didn't know. That's cool. At least I thought. I was like, never thought of it, but it's so simple. Planar magnetic with rubber magnet is simple to make if you can find the magnets. If you need any magnets, you can give me a call, I would say, or I don't know, you can contact me on Facebook. I bought new magnets, and I actually didn't have a plan for it, so I have quite a lot of rubber magnets, around 250 meters still. So that's an option. What else is easy? Yeah, you can make these. The first Bluetooth speaker I made was also with rubber magnets. Although these rubber magnets I used in the Bluetooth speaker is I used from a old SMG A, I believe. So that's maybe the cheapest method. Let's see. Oh, I throw it away, I think. Well, what you do is you're looking for on your eBay or Craigslist. I don't know. We don't have Craigslist in the Netherlands, of course, but Marktplaats it's called. But on a second-hand site, and you just buy some broken SMGAs, and they're probably dirt cheap because fixing them is really expensive, and people want something for them. So you can probably say like, I'll give you, I don't know, $50 or $75, I don't know, for a broken pair. And they may look like shit, the fabric can be gone, the mylar, if it's ripped, that's even better. I mean, then they should be dirt cheap, because no one wants to buy Magnepans with, fucked up mylar, because it's really expensive and really hard to fix, if you're even able to fix it. But that's a really nice method of getting quite a lot of magnet for peanuts. So just, buy some broken Magnepans and either fix them or you can play around with them to fix them, or you can just use the magnets for some other projects, for a mid-range and a tweeter, for instance, and use a low end for, I don't know, whatever, or make a Bluetooth loudspeaker out of them. Because I used, this panel this consists of Magnepan magnets, and it's not much, of course. If you look at the size, it's not very much. Oude rukken. Ja man, dank je. What's good, John? You seen the new Mike Oxmal? Who's John? Who's John and who's Mike Oxmal? Am I missing something? Probably am. So yeah, buy broken Magnepans. That's what I did, at least. because I couldn't find the magnets that I needed. And of course, it's not the end goal buying broken Magnepens and make new loudspeakers of them, because it's kind of weird. But well, I couldn't find the magnet, so I had to. I wanted to play with it. So let me see. Then there is this. I believe there was one. Yeah, the fast electrostatic tweeter is quite a start to finish how to make a electrostatic panel, but I must say it's not an insulated panel, so it's by far ideal. But the only difference is that normally you would like insulate the metal like completely, so make it really clean, really clean. Then use spray paint or something else to insulate it, and the rest is exactly the same. So that's a simple method of making a electrostatic panel, but you don't want to make it full range. I mean, it's not segmented, so it will beam like crazy. So it's interesting for like smallish strips, for instance, as a tweeter. What else do we got? More Bluetooth thingies, but the big planar magnetic was also not very hard. At least the first time I made it was just using wires, and you don't need any special tools to make it. The only thing you need is the magnets again, wood, metal, mylar, some glue, maybe some plastic that is the correct height as a spacer, some epoxy, some 30NF glue, and aluminium wire, which you can buy at wires.co.uk, which is rather expensive for the amount of wire you get, but it is the only shop I could find where you can buy wire, and it's also not that expensive. I mean, we're talking like €8 or something, so it's not insane. But of course, we all know this wire probably costs like nothing. But Kung Fui. Yes, you could, but it all depends on the overlap. So you could, like a dipole, if you combine it with an omni, indeed, you will get a kidney kind of figure, which would be insanely nice because you don't have reflection. A kidney has it's like the same as in microphones. So a dipole, they call it a figure of 8 in microphones. An omni is called an omni, but a kidney has like the best front back ratio. So there's almost nothing coming in microphones. So there's almost nothing going into the back of the microphone, and almost everything in the front. A pretty wide range. The same goes for the loudspeaker. All the same things goes for the loudspeakers as for the microphones, which is really fun. When I studied sound at the Film Academy, we had like hours and hours about microphones, and every time I liked that, that particular what's it called? Lessons? I don't know. Because for me it's like, oh yeah, it's the same like blah blah blah, or oh, that's actually an electrostatic loudspeaker, but it's a condenser microphone, blah blah blah. So it's, everything is kind of the same but reversed, almost everything. So I was enjoying myself, and very nice grades, I must admit. So yeah, it was really fun. But anyhow, yeah, if you have there's one, yeah, you have to like match microphones, and you have to calculate what the pattern will be. If you have like, for instance, 0.8 omni and 0.2 figure of 8. And then you get a certain directional pattern, and the same goes for loudspeakers. And that could be really fun. But the thing is, with if you use a dipole as a mid-range top, like mid-range and treble, the overlap determines where it actually does this this thing. So it only works down to a certain frequency depending on how low your mid-range will play. I believe this Dutch and Dutch that is very popular right now and very expensive. It's a Dutch brand loudspeakers made in Rotterdam. It's like quite close to me. I was there for a for a job offer once. But they ask all kind of weird stuff like, can you drive and bring people their loudspeakers? I said no. I just wanted to like make loudspeakers, and but hell. Anyhow, very nice brand, I believe, and they do actually the same, I believe. They're low end. They have quite some overlap, and they have some ports, so it makes a dipole at this frequency. So it becomes more like a kidney kind of figure. Kind of weird. So the Mike Oxmall thingy is maybe a it's something I've never seen, I guess. But yeah, of course on eBay there are many sorts of magnets, but if you want to make like huge panels, and quite a lot of them, and I always think about, I never buy magnets just for me. If I don't see any potential in selling them like speakers with these magnets, then I don't buy them usually. So often when I look at magnets and it's like, okay, yeah, it's really nice, but they're way too expensive. If I couldn't make any money on them if I would make something production wise with them, so then I'll just leave them. I have some addresses for magnets that are still doable for me. I can share them. One of them will be Ines magnets. One of them will be some Artelian magnet company. You'll have to look it up because I never remember the name, to be fair. They're both rather cheap. Cheaper than eBay. How will you evaluate good or bad a speaker based on hearing from your experience? Because I feel it too challenging since I started doing some audio projects. Well, I'm not sure, because I usually tend to measure loudspeakers, and I'm not a measuring guru or something, but at least it gives me some idea, and often it is kind of correct with what you're hearing. But if that feeling only arises after you measure, then it's probably biased. I mean, I was listening and I was like, I don't know, and then I'm measuring and then I say, yeah, I thought I was something wrong there. Then it might be me talking shit. But yeah, I don't know. I often found loudspeakers sound pretty okayish. I mean, the room is more of a thing, the bigger problem, like a huge problem compared to the loudspeaker. Of course, if there's like a huge gap or something, you will hear it, but I don't know. Many commercial loudspeakers sound okay-ish for me. It depends on what you want to do with it and where you're listening to it. I mean, if I just walk into a room with someone playing music, I hardly ever think, "Whoa, this sounds terrible," because I don't know the room, and usually I don't know the music they're playing, so I have no clue. It's like, sounds okay. Probably is or isn't, I don't know. That's why I like, especially high-end loudspeakers. It would be nice if they had like measuring data, which they never have somehow. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, or at least I can guess why, but it's kind of weird. I mean, if you're selling 25,000 euro loudspeakers, or let's say $300,000 loudspeakers, like the other planar magnetic that is really nice looking and has massive specs, but still, I would like to see a measurement. I mean, it's not, I can buy a house from that for that kind of money, so it's not enough to just listen in their perfect room with whatever kind of equipment they have behind it. I just want to see as well what they do. Besides, I have to like them as well, but it's a bit like buying a car. You also want to know the specs, I guess. And I mean, not just how many watts they can take or whatever, but a little bit more detail. Let's see. Yeah, there are many things that I want to try. The exciter thingies, the DMLs, Rubinoids, electrostatic loudspeakers, and I still have to make, a big ass planar magnetic, and maybe I have to go like full retard with those and use these magnets, but then many of them, because, well, I have like 200 here or something, but often with the big guns, I call them the big guns because I always made like smallish panels with rubber magnet, and I was sort of pleased, but never was like really pleased. And then I made these rather big panels for far bigger than I ever made, and I called them the big guns. That's the reason why they were called the big guns. And then I was way more pleased than with any of my previous builds. So maybe that's the story. Maybe just go big, make a huge ass speaker, and maybe it fills, maybe it works, and if it works, it's kind of fun. But who knows? Yeah, the rest, yeah. Most of the other builds are like you need a plotter or a wax printer or a CNC or all of them. So that's too bad. But indeed, I should make some more step-by-step thingies. Are there any people still have any questions? Or just anything? Because else I might be having some dinner, which is, I don't have my watch on, but I still watch at my wrist every time. It's quite late. It's almost 2 hours now, so yeah, I am off. I'm gonna have some dinner and go to bed. So thank you for watching, and if you got any questions later on, feel free to drop them somewhere on my Facebook or on YouTube. And I believe Jason, not sure if you're here still, but if you want to drop a picture of the setup you made, just add me on your Facebook and I'll see it coming. Well, anyhow, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye. See ya.